Alright, fellow Slayers, now time to continue on with the episode Gingerbread. While on the nightly patrol, Buffy not only encounters a vampire, but also her mother, who was looking for some quality time and a chance to share in the slaying experience. As Buffy kills the vampire, Joyce discovers the bodies of two children in the park. The police arrive and, after some questioning, Buffy and Joyce are free to leave. Joyce is visibly disturbed. At school the next day, Buffy confronts Giles about the situation, desperate to find out what kind of creature would do this. She draws the symbol that was found on the hands of the two children. He says it's probably related to the occult. Buffy can't quite get herself to believe someone with a soul could have done this, and becomes all the more eager to find those responsible. Willow and Amy sit with Xander and Oz, who exchange a few awkward words at lunch. Buffy joins them and fills them in on the murders. Joyce is up at school and informs Buffy that she spread the word about the murders to other residents, and there will be a vigil at City Hall that night. Many concerned parents attend the vigil, including Willow's mother and the mayor. The mayor says a few words to the crowd before handing over the mic to Mrs. Summers. She gives a speech about how the citizens of Sunnydale need to take back their city from the monsters. Later, Michael, Amy, and Willow perform a spell in a circle that surrounds the symbol Buffy found on the children's hands. Michael is shoved up against his locker the next day by another student, Roy, who threatens both him and Amy. Buffy makes a brief appearance next to Amy and gives Roy a seemingly innocent smile. He notices her and thinks better of going any further. Cordelia, having witnessed the whole incident, remarks to Buffy about the outcome of getting involved with losers, believing herself to be the prime example. Buffy goes to find Willow, who has the book Giles needs for researching the symbol. However, when she finds the book, Buffy also finds the symbol in one of Willow's notebooks. Before Willow can explain, a search of all the school lockers begins in order to find any material that may be witch-related. Students found anything questionable are sent to the principal's office. Willow tells Buffy that the symbol is harmless and that she was not doing anything wrong, just making a protection spell for Buffy's upcoming birthday. Amy and Willow, who have suspicious materials in their lockers, are taken to Principal Snyder's office. All of Justice's books are confiscated by the police, leaving the Slayer and Watcher without the resources. Uh-oh. Buffy goes home where she finds that her mom, the new mother of Moo, mother's supposed to be called, does not want Buffy to see Willow anymore. Buffy also discovers that her mom was the one to organize the locker raid. The two argue, and Buffy leaves to patrol, insulted by her mother, who claims her slaying is not doing Sunnydale any good. The ghosts of the two children appear to Joyce and tells her that she has to hurt the bad girls. Willow goes home, where her mother calmly tells her she's grounded. Willow flips out, unable to control her anger towards the fact that her mother does not believe that she's a witch. Buffy meets up with Angel at the park and they talk. He convinces her to keep fighting. He also unintentionally gives her the idea that they do not know anything about the two kids. Although pictures of the living children have been provided, there's been no reference to their parents or even any names provided. Buffy heads back to the library to find Giles yelling at a computer, and that Xander and Oz were unable to retrieve any books from City Hall. After linking up with Will's laptop over the net, the Scuba Gang find out that the two children died hundreds of years ago. Every 50 years, a demon-possessed children appears in a town to convince residents to kill bad girls or witches. Hans and Greta are an example of fairy tales coming true. In real life, the children inspire the tales of Hansel and Gretel. Buffy and Giles arrive at the Summers home to try to talk some sense into Joyce. However, Moo tricks the duo, as Giles is hit in the head and Buffy is smothered with chloroform. They are subsequently knocked unconscious. Amy, Will, and Buffy are taken by force to City Hall, where they are tied to wooden posts atop piles of books for a combined book/witch burning. As Buffy regains consciousness, her mother lights the books on fire, sentencing the three girls to death, burning them alive. Amy, however, avoids her fate by transforming into a rat and scurrying out of the building. Cordelia finds Giles unconscious at the Summers home and wakes him in time for them to head off and save the others. Xander and Oz find Willow's room in shambles, prompting them to also head for City Hall. In the car, Giles practices a German incantation while Cordelia prepares a concoction to force the demon to show its true form. Oz and Xander climb through the air vents in hopes of saving their friends. Giles and Cordelia break into the room, which is now partially on fire with the parents watching. Cordelia uses a fire hose to put out the fire and spray down the parents while Giles casts the revealing spell at the children. As a demon, now in its true ugly form, goes over Buffy, he breaks the stake she was tied to and stabs the creature. Everyone is safe, and the demon is dead. The next day, none of the parents remember much of anything, and everything is back to normal. However, Amy is still a rat. Buffy will try performing the reverse spell to restore her to human form, but it doesn't work. Buffy suggests getting Amy one of those wheel thingies. Interesting. So now let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. Joyce and Giles are still awkward around each other since they had sex a few weeks before. Buffy asks Angel, "Is Sunnydale any better than when I first came here?" She's unaware of the events in the alternative reality, where Sunnydale is indeed much worse off without her. Angel's speech to Buffy about purposes of fighting evil is similar to the speech he later gives Kate Lockley in the episode Epiphany. The layout of Willow's room is completely different from her room shown in Lie to Me. Amy turns herself to a rat and remains that way for some time until Something Blue, where she is briefly turned back into a human. She will return back as human permanently until smashed. Cordelia tells Giles that one day he might wake up in a coma, which he would actually do when you're welcome. Cordelia asks Giles rhetorically, "How many times have you been knocked down anyway?" Giles has been rendered unconscious on an almost regular basis. In A New Man, Giles will describe himself as having a tendency to get knocked on the head. Buffy's almost burned at his stake under the accusation of witchcraft, which happened to a slayer in Righteous. Snyder paraphrases a line from the film Apocalypse Now, which he will appear in a parody of in Restless. And now let's take a look at some production notes from this episode. The opening credits of this episode finished half a second earlier than usual, slightly trimming the end theme's final note. When the camera pans out of Willow and Amy's coven, first revealing the symbol they are gathered around, the faint laugh of Kakistos can be heard in the background. It's the laugh he uttered after telling Buffy she needed a bigger stake in Faith, Hope, and Trick. Moo, Mother supposedly called, which Joyce Summers founds, is proverbs to mad, Mothers against drunk driving. The German story Giles looks up at the computer is a word-by-word mistranslation of the English original text. AD 1649, me, a clergyman near the Black Forest, did find the bodies of the children on my own. One was of the boy, the other of and girl. Thereafter, through my own research, I learned. Despite this episode having originally aired in 1999, the cover credit reads 1998, the year it was filmed. Roger Morrissey, here portraying the Hans and Greta Strauss demon, also plays Taparek in Living Conditions. And now let's take a look at some pop culture references. Principal Snyder walks to the library as it is being empty of books by the police and says to Giles, "I love the smell of desperate librarian in the morning." This paraphrases the famous line from Apocalypse Now, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." Willow and her mother have a discussion about the Mr. Rogers show. This episode's twist on the popular Hansel and Gretel fairy tale. Xander wonders if he can trade his cow for a couple of beans, referring to the fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk. Buffy tells Angel about the little Dutch boy who plugs a dike with his finger, a story featured in the novel Hans Brinker or The Silver Skates. Buffy mentions My Friend Flicka, a 1941 book about a boy and his horse. It was also made into a 1943 movie and a 1956 TV series. She also refers to the Salem witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts in 1692. Xander reveals that he reads Playboy magazine. As co-stars Charisma Carpenter and Mercedes McNabb will later go on to Postman magazine, as were Christy Swanson for the 1992 film, and Daphne Duplay and Jamie Bergman from Angel. And now finally, let's take a look at a goof. The German story Giles looks upon the computer is badly translated, 25 or more mistakes in 33 words, and thus nearly incomprehensible if read in German. So overall, I think this episode is pretty good, and yeah, the whole twist on the Hansel and Gretel fairy tale is actually kind of interesting. So yeah, so overall, I give Gingerbread 3 vampire steaks out of 5. But anyway, tune in bed as we take a look at the final episode of the day, Helpless. So until then, here endeth the lesson.